It's the right talk.
Charlie?
Hey, Upstate, welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
1063 WORD.
Over on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, somebody said, hey, what about that steak recipe? I've got a great steak recipe for you coming up in just a couple of minutes. I tried it this weekend. It was absolutely phenomenal. Well, it is October 31st, and it is Halloween night, and that means winter is coming. We're not very far from it. Over in Europe, they are really looking at a very difficult winter coming up. And it's going to be a long one. Joining us right now is Steve Malloy from junkscience.com. Steve, welcome to the program. How are you? Are you there? Steve, are you there? Lonzo, see if we can get
lost him.
Oh, we lost him. Try to get him back. But because this is a fascinating story, because what's going on in Europe, unless they've got some stores of gas and oil that we don't know about, it's going to be a long one. And Steve Malloy says that according to certain people out there, Europe serves as an object lesson for the economic, social, and national security disaster that is the climate hysteria-driven preference and over-reliance on wind and solar power. And that's exactly where we are. An over-reliance on wind and solar. In fact, over in Europe, what they're looking at doing, they're going to be tearing down a windmill farm. And they're going to be looking at building a coal plant. Steve Malloy is back with us. Steve, welcome to the program. How are you?
Hey, Charles, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Winter is going to be a long one. We all know Game of Thrones, the House Stark, their motto was winter is coming. And for Europe, that's an ominous statement, isn't it?
Yeah, there's an energy crisis in the world. It's especially hit Europe hard. I think in Germany, energy prices are up like 173%. So that's quite a bit. And, industries have had to curtail activities. Germans have started to ration electricity. And this is happening actually across Europe, in the UK and France and Spain and Italy. And they're really buckling up for, possibly if they have a really cold winter, it's going to be pretty miserable over there. People are going to, the poor are going to have to be choosing between heating and eating.
And that's never a situation I saw pictures of people in Germany. And they were out there with chainsaws. They were cutting wood. They were trying to get ready, something to supplement their heating going on, right?
Yeah, not only are they cutting wood, but there's actually a crime syndicate that is stealing wood.
Really?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well, it's becoming like Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
And of course, this is all because of climate policies, right?
Yeah.
The whole energy crisis, even Putin invading Ukraine, okay? It's climate idiocy that enriched and empowered Putin and put him in the position he is. So all this goes back to climate.
So how could all of this have been headed off? Because I thought just a couple of years ago, when the United States was a net exporter of energy, everything was going along pretty well. Could it have been the fact that Germany and Europe bought their energy from us instead of Putin, like Donald Trump warned them?
Oh, absolutely. Through their climate policies, they made themselves dependent on Russia. And then when Joe Biden became president, and he discouraged the production of U.S. oil and started going to war with the U.S. oil industry, he put OPEC back in charge of global oil prices. And then, an empowered Russia and an empowered OPEC are not a good thing for the world. So a lot of this is on Joe Biden as well.
So his policies first day, right out of the box, well over 50 executive orders, doing exactly what one of his campaign promises was, to do away with the petroleum industry. That really set this ball in motion, didn't it?
Yeah, he, from day one, he shut down pipelines. He shut down leasing on federal lands. He has threatened oil executives with prosecution. He has accused them of price gouging. Just now he is threatening a windfall profits tax. He's got all sorts of regulatory actions. He's out there saying, I'm doing everything I can to raise gas prices. Of course, the exact opposite is the truth. He's doing everything he can to make gas prices more expensive by discouraging U.S. production. And worse than just, raising prices, he's put OPEC in the driver's seat.
He really has. So let me ask you this, because one of the things that we're hearing lately is that our strategic oil reserves, as far as diesel is concerned, is radically low right now. And we all know the world depends on diesel. What happens if we run out?
Well, if we run out of diesel, that's going to bring trucking and farming and a lot of industrial construction activity to a complete halt. And that's going to be very bad if that happens. Now, I'm not, I've heard about we only have 25 days supply. I don't know whether that's true or not. Maybe that's, I don't know exactly what's going on. But the point is, Biden's policies and Obama's policies before him had resulted in, less refining going on. So, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that we only have a 25-day supply of diesel. The oil industry is selling it as fast as they can produce it, but they can only produce, so much of it because we only have so many refineries and they're running at full tilt. And at some point, they got to go down for maintenance or, we'll have a disaster. So we're in a precarious situation, and it's all because of Biden's policies.
So why not build more refineries? Are there restrictions on building refineries here in North America?
Well, funny you should ask. There's this thing called the EPA.
Oh, you mean the folks there in the biggest building in Washington, D.C., other than the Pentagon?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
They are a rogue agency, which for the last 40 or so years has been shutting down refineries. We used to have about 150 refineries in this country. Now we've got about 30. Now, there's been some consolidation, so some of these refineries are larger now. But we don't have enough, and the refineries have to make these weird fuel blends for different areas of the country because of EPA rules, and a lot of them are concentrated in the Gulf. If we get a big storm in the Gulf, which could happen, hurricane season until December 1st, that could shut down refineries or damage them, and where are we going to get gasoline from? I mean, that's our gasoline comes from the Gulf.
Yeah.
So, EPA has just been out of control for all these years, and we've got refineries that are running full tilt, but that are on the edge of collapse.
So let's talk now about nitrogen. Countries all over European Union, countries all over the globe are trying to cut down on nitrogen. What's that going to do to fuel production? So not only are we going to be cold, we're going to be hungry too.
Yeah, well, nitrogen, as is a code word for fertilizer.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So, and there is no such thing as, low emissions fertilizer. We need fertilizer to grow food. And if we don't use it, well, we're going to be in a situation like in Sri Lanka where the agricultural sector just collapsed and the president had people protesting, in his house because they decided to try going organic and shunning fertilizer, which is crazy. I mean, the reason we can't feed 8 billion people on the planet today is because we use fertilizers.
Exactly right. I mean, we know the Netherlands, the farmers were on strike over there, like you mentioned. Sri Lanka, they took over the president's mansion there. Are people sick and tired of these policies? Are they realizing that they're not working or not going to work?
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to get a pretty good indication next Tuesday when people go to the polls.
Yeah.
I think people are tired of it. I mean, we have huge energy prices that we're paying now. We have huge inflation. And it really all goes back to this climate stuff. I mean, there's, some COVID in there as well. But, Biden came in and started raising gas prices from day one. And then Putin came along and made gas prices go up even higher. And so now we have this, inflation that is very high, as everybody knows, and that's nothing new. I don't know when things are going to improve. Nobody else does. We unfortunately need a new government, or we need a new government because we need new policies that are going to make energy cheap again and make America dominant in the world in terms of energy. And then from there, we're going to have a growing and prosperous economy.
Well, if you just go back and just remember the days of $2 gasoline, $2.25, this country, this entire globe was humming right along, weren't we?
Yeah. Well, when Joe Biden became president, gas was $2.30, although he's recently been saying it was $5.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Just making it up, right?
Yeah, you're just making it up. Check out Steve Malloy over at junkscience.com. Always a pleasure, Steve. Thank you, buddy. We
All right,
appreciate
Troy,
it.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, they're not only they're trying to get rid of the gasoline, they're trying to get rid of the nitrogen. They're trying to get rid of the cows. So in honor of that, when we get back, I'm going to give you the greatest steak recipe that I've ever come upon. Try it. You're going to love it. I promise. That's next, right here on the Charlie James Show, 106.3 WORD.
Retirement planning text line.
It's 71307. Putting it all into context.
It's the Charlie James Show
On 1063 WORD.
Streaming live now at 1063 WORD on Facebook and Twitter. Also 1063 WORD over on YouTube. Also the Charlie James Show on Facebook and Charlie on Air at Twitter and Rumble. If you'd like to tune in, would be glad to have you. So I got to admit that when I hear them talking about, the radical lefties, the greenie weenies, talking about doing away with cows, and they want us to eat bugs. That's where they want to go. They want to take us from eating steak and eating, anything, meatloaf, bologna. I love bologna, by the way. I really do. They want us to take us from that to eating mealworms and crickets and bugs. Sorry, but I just don't want to make that transition. Some of you might. I'm not with you. Okay. So throughout the years, I've tried to cook a great steak. It's been a mission of mine, and I've tried everything. I've tried reverse sear on the grill. I've tried reverse sear in the oven. I've tried searing first, searing last. I've tried cooking off heat first and getting it up to temperature and then searing on the grill. I've tried everything. But I came upon a recipe that I think has beat them all. The best steak that I have ever cooked at home, and it is ridiculously simple. So what I'm going to tell you now, I will also post this over on my Facebook page, okay? So here's what you do. We're going to go with 2 steaks. Sheila and I bought 2 ribeyes this weekend, and you get your ribeyes about an hour before you're ready to cook them. You take them out and you let them get to room temperature, okay? Or as close to it as you can. Right before you cook it, you pat them with paper towels. You make sure they're dry. You use about a half a tablespoon of oil. That is all you need in your pan. If you have a cast iron skillet, that's the way to go. If not, a heavy stainless steel skillet will suffice. Use about a half a teaspoon of oil, okay? Get that going in the pan. Then you salt and pepper your steaks on both sides. Salt and pepper your steaks on both sides. You sear them for 4 minutes each. 4 minutes on one side, flip them over, do 4 minutes on the other side. All right? You get half a stick of butter and 4 garlic cloves, 2 sprigs of rosemary. Okay? Once your steaks are seared on both sides for about 4 minutes, then you put that sprig of rosemary directly on the steak. You put the garlic and the butter in the pan. You let it start to melt. You get it good and melted. Then once it has done that, you take a large spoon and you ladle that melted butter with the garlic on top of that rosemary on that steak. You just keep doing that. You got a little thermometer there, or however you want to test your doneness or anything like that. I'm a big believer in thermometers. I always use one of those instant reads, and you just keep basting those steaks with that garlic and butter. Just keep on until it gets up to the temperature that you want. It is absolutely fantastic. So easy to do. Done in about 20 minutes, and you're ready to eat. It is. Some people like to let it rest for about 10 minutes. I don't. I like to take it right from the pan to the plate and dig in. But no, I'll take that back. It was the best steak that I've ever prepared at home. It is so good. It really is. And a lot of people are sending me their steak. Try this one. Try this one, because I've tried just about all of those steak recipes out there, and this one beats them all. It was tender. It was juicy. It was delicious. It's one of those steaks that I'll just, it was so good. I actually thought about doing it again this weekend. I thought we had it on Saturday. I thought about doing it again for Sunday. That's how good it was. And so simple. I may never cook a steak on the grill again. Maybe not. We'll be right back. This is the Charlie James Show, 106.3 WORD.
on 106.3 WORD.
Welcome back to the program. It is Halloween evening. Taking all the kiddies out there. We ought to do that for adults. And I don't mean dressing up and go around getting candy. I mean just dressing up like everybody makes appetizers, right? That's a great idea. Everybody makes appetizers. Everybody, might make a dessert or an appetizer, and you just go by their house and go, hey, trick or treat. Oh, well, here's some bacon wrapped shrimp. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And then you go to the next one, and they go, oh, well, here's some little container of macaroni and cheese. Enjoy that. Wouldn't that be awesome? Lonzo, you could go for that. I mean, you would come out of the woods for that, right? You would do that.
Oh, I would, especially for like some stuffed mushrooms.
Yeah.
Some good
Oh,
crab.
yeah.
I'm down for that.
I like the crab. Can't do the stuffed mushrooms since my 21st birthday. 21st birthday was the last time I had stuffed mushrooms because I also had a tremendous amount of tequila.
So you're talking about 2 years ago.
Exactly. Yes. Just a couple of years ago, stuffed mushrooms and tequila were a mixture that were just not good for Charlie. Could not do the stuffed mushrooms. Ironically, I can still do the tequila. So there you go. But it would be a great idea. Go around everybody's house, start handing out appetizers, stuff like that, little pieces of steak. It'd be kind of like going to Costco back in the old days where you could get all the samples and stuff like that. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Okay, Ingles Market Talk Line, 800-347-1063. The Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, 71307. 1 week from tomorrow, people are going to be going to the polls to vote in the election. If you haven't already early voted, which is going on through November the 5th, that would be a week from, what is that? Let me just double check here. What is November the 5th? That'd be a week from, that'll be coming up this Saturday. Will be your last day to do early voting here in South Carolina. So if you haven't done that already, get out there and vote. Because, folks, we all know that in some way, by hook or by crook, they're going to try to do something funny in this election. Chuck Calesto over on Twitter is saying that Mandiant, a cybersecurity and intelligence organization that works in both the government and the public sector, has revealed that China is working to undermine the midterm elections. Really? You think? Of course. Of course they are. Of course China is trying to do this. Because nothing would make them happier than for the Biden administration to continue on unimpeded by the GOP. That would make him happy. Because everybody, we all know Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, Jim Biden, all the Bidens are in the back pocket of the Chinese Communist Party. And they will do whatever they can to make sure that they're in power. So, no, it wouldn't surprise me a bit. Would not surprise me a bit if China was actually trying to undermine our midterm elections. But let me ask you this. Do you think we do the same thing? Do you think the United States tries to undermine elections as well? I mean, surely we can't be not guilty of this practice. Surely we've been responsible for regime changes all over the globe. Surely Barack Obama didn't go over to Israel and try to interfere in the Netanyahu elections over in Israel. Surely Barack Obama didn't go over to England and tell England that if they voted for Brexit, that they would go to the back of the line in negotiating power. Surely we wouldn't do anything like that, right? I mean, we're obviously squeaky clean. Yeah, probably so. No, I don't believe that. But it seems like we get awfully upset when somebody else tries to do it to us. Right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have interfered in plenty of elections nationwide, worldwide, And I wouldn't really be entirely surprised or shocked if we didn't have something to do with the elections this weekend in Brazil. That wouldn't shock me a bit either. We are, folks, I mean, I love my country. I'm not a big fan of the government at all times. But I am not naive enough to think that we haven't rigged elections or interfered in elections for our own benefit. You know what happens. You know what happens, right? So, hey, Charlie, Costco still gives out samples. You're thinking of COVID times. I was at Costco this weekend. I didn't see any samples out there. Maybe I'm not looking in the right place. Do you remember you go to Harris Teeter and they would have these big, just out. They would just be out. These were the good old days. You could just go there. They would have chunks of ham. And then down here, they would have chunks of cheese. And you just go by and grab you a toothpick full of ham and a toothpick full of cheese and go about your business. And then when times start getting hard, literally, I saw this and I had to stop and laugh out loud. They had samples of broccoli. And I was thinking, you guys must have some really good broccoli if you got samples of it. Let's see. Charlie Ingalls. Well, Charlie, don't call me Shirley. Okay, Shirley. Ingalls Market Talk Line 800-347-1063. The Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307. Charlie, Joe's grandchildren probably get kickbacks from China. Biden-China connections. Of course they're connected. All you got to do, go look at the movie, My Son Hunter. It lays it all out with the facts. Now, it was I would say a docu-comedy sort of a thing. But when they laid out the facts, you knew that they were laying out the facts. And Tony Bobulinski said, listen, this is an administration that is so intertwined with the Chinese Communist Party that they don't know one end from the other. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Chinese were interfering in our elections. In fact, here's the thing. I would be more surprised if they weren't. More surprised if they weren't, which is all the more reason that you need to get out there and vote in record numbers. I mean, some of the polling that we're seeing right now is absolutely off the charts. Joe Rogan said that the red wave coming up a week from tomorrow is going to be so big, it's going to remind you of the elevator scene in The Shining. Yes, exactly right. Right now over in Georgia, and I got a clip to play from Stacey Abrams coming up in just a little bit. Georgia Governor, Kemp versus Abram. Kemp leading by 7. Walker versus Warnock. Herschel Walker against Raphael Warnock. Walker leading by 1. It was up between 2 and 3. Utah, Lee versus Evan McMullen. That guy. Lee up by 10. J.D. Vance winning his race by 4. DeWine winning his race by 20. So, I mean, all you see right now, red. And that's a good thing. It's a real good thing. I hope we get that victory in New York. I hope we get that. I hope it's a bloodbath. I really do. And I hope it's one that is so bad that the Democrat Party is going to have to stand up and go, listen, we've been listening to these idiots. The Alexandria Ocasio-Cortezes, the Ilhan Omars, Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Presley. We've been listening to those people far too long. It's time for some good sense to come back to this party. You know, the same way they talk about us. We'll be right back. This is the Charlie James Show, 106.3 WORD.
Preferred home.
It's that spooky time of the year. Stay informed
Whisper in my ear.
on 106.3 WORD.
Hey,
Text your comment to 71307 on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
Welcome to the Charlie James Show, 106.3 WORD.
Welcome back to the program. Glad to have you along with us. Halloween night. All the kiddies going to be coming out soon. It's not just about getting dark enough for some of the young kids to go out into. What is too old to be trick-or-treating? Lonzo, do you think there ought to be an age limit on, I mean, if you see like 18, 19-year-old folks out there and they just throw a cape on and show up at your door, you think there should be an age limit?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 12.
12? Really, 12? So once you're a teenager, no more trick-or-treating.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say I'm just gonna make people mad.
Yeah, just go and you will. My son's 13. 13, 14, 15. Yeah, once you get into, in my opinion, one of the 14, maybe 15, 16, that might be a little too old to go out and trick or treat.
Yeah, if you can drive, that's
yeah.
yeah.
You can drive the other kids. You're right, but you'll see them. You'll see them. Well, you won't, Lonzo, because you live out in the woods in an undisclosed bunker. But you'll see the older kids out there. What do you guys think? Let me know on the on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307. How old is too old to trick or treat? Lonzo says 12-year-old maximum. I'm going to go 15, 16, definitely. But I bet you guys, you think that you have age limits? And do you actively engage in the trick-or-treaters? Or are you one of these people that just fills a candy bowl full and with a sign on it that says take 2 pieces and let that be it? I don't know. I know my wife's going to be out front today because she is, God bless her heart, she is the sweetest woman. She is the sweetest woman. She is going to sit outside of our house tonight so that the kids won't ring the doorbell and the dogs won't bark and the show. And just so sweet. Kids no older than 12 or 13 should be out trick-or-treating. Anybody else is just looking to take advantage of people. Some folks says 13. 210 says doesn't matter as long as they have fun. 15, somebody says 15 is the age limit on trick-or-treating. I'm kind of that way. Charlie, missed your steak recipe. Can you send it to me? Send me an email. Send me an email and I'll send you the steak recipe. Charlie at 1063 WORD. It really is fantastic. Some people. So anyway, we're going to be getting some trick-or-treaters coming up. Charlie, if you're a guy and can grow a beard as part of your get-up, you're probably too old. Yeah, facial hair, definitely a sign that you shouldn't be out trick-or-treating. So there you go. Charlie, if kids older than 14 are escorting children, it's okay if they're dressed up. Well, there you go. I like that too. If they're out there trick-or-treating, here you go. Here's a, peanut M&Ms or whatever. Somebody said, all right, so let's rank these. Lonzo, give me a rank here. Best Halloween candy. If you're going to get Halloween candy, what is the one thing you're hoping to get?
I'm going to go with probably Reese's.
Yeah, that's just one of those perfect things, isn't it?
That or Kit Kat. I got those fairly even for me.
Yeah, I like Kit Kat. What about Butterfinger?
I love Butterfingers, and you know why you get more of them than other people? Because there are too many people going, I don't want to pick them out of my teeth. Well, I don't care.
I don't either. Yeah, me either. Here's a, I don't know if you guys ever had this, a Chico stick. You ever have a Chico stick?
Yes, back in my youth, I definitely had some Chico sticks.
They are like a Butterfinger, but without the chocolate coating on it. And they got a little coconut as well. So I love those things. Chico sticks are great. Charlie, I hand out candy to the kids, beer to the adults. Oh, good for you. Charlie, in what age is wearing a mask in public no longer legal? It is not illegal on Halloween night. It is not illegal while you're trick-or-treating. Charlie, 45 years old is the age limit. Whole bars of chocolate is the best trick-or-treat candy. Trick-or-treating takes too long. Bag snatching at the end of the night is more efficient. Well, if you're looking at purely efficiency, you're right. Charlie, Heath bars, always confiscated from my kids' bag. Love Heath bars and Score bars as long as we're talking about it. People with children are too young for candy. There you go. So mine are Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, Butterfinger, peanut M&Ms. Peanut M&Ms. I love those things. I just think they're fantastic. Snicker bars, I don't know why. I've just kind of gotten away from, though, recently. Just not. I used to love Snickers. Now I'm like, Charlie, I like Royal Crown mini bottles. Those are always good to get for Halloween. Charlie, 3 to 12 must be able to walk on their own, and teenagers should be helpers only. Mallow cups. I don't think I've ever had a Mallow cup. I've heard about them.
It's like a Reese's with marshmallow in it.
That might be decent.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's all right. So there you go. Get out there and enjoy it, but be careful. Baby Ruth, some people say Baby Ruth are good. Right-handed Twix. Are you a right-hander or a left-hander, Lonzo?
You know where I work. Come on.
Yeah, he's a right-hander. Either right-hander. I don't know. What is there a difference? No. Or is there?
There's no difference.
There's no difference. I didn't think so. I thought maybe there might be because in the bag of candy that we bought, I had a Twix today. Let me just see. I can reach down here and find the wrapper here in just a second. It was a right-handed Twix. I had a right-handed Twix there. Charlie just went to put a bag of Snickers bar in a Halloween bowl, and there was one big bag that was unwrapped and smashed up. I was so grossed out. Ooh, that's not good. So anyway, be careful out there. Only go to homes that you know, because we know everybody's telling us about the rainbow fentanyl and all of that that's going on out there. I don't want anybody to get hurt. Go to places you know. No need to run around to a bunch of neighborhoods or anything like that. Just stay in your area. Somebody says Almond Joy is the best. I like Almond Joy, but I'm not going to rank it in the top 5. It might be in the top 10, but not in the top 5. All right. Give us your favorite Halloween candies. This is the Charlie James Show. We'll be right back. 106.3 WORD.
1063 WORD.
Welcome to the program. Glad to have you along with us. Monday night, Halloween night. Getting a lot of great ideas for Halloween candy. Some stuff I'd even forgotten about. Mary Janes. Mary Janes are great. Gerald says if you don't have filling in your teeth, Mary Janes are pretty awesome. Dark chocolate and mint Twix, Nestle's Crunch, and Reese's Cup at the same time. Oh, yeah. Somebody said Zero Bar. Zero Bar is one of my favorite candy bars. But they don't, I've never seen them, though, in the small fun size. I've never seen the Zero Bar. I mean, you just got to get it. Sometimes you get a big full size zero. Every now and then I'll do that. I'll go get the big fulls or the king size Zero Bar. Oh, so good. Sue says, I know a lot of people will say no and gross, but I love peanut butter kisses. Almost always wrapped in orange and black paper, kind of like taffy. Yeah, I like those peanut butter kisses. Those are pretty good. Not quite as good, but anytime I hear chocolate and peanut butter, I want it to be as good as the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. But it just never is. It's always second best. So Reese's Peanut Butter Cup is still the king, in my opinion, of Halloween candy. Absolutely number one. But the greatest trick without the treat that has been perpetrated on the American public was the Inflation Reduction Act. Now, I want you to remember this the next time when you're planning on going to the polls. Maybe you're going to go early voting. Maybe you're going to go on Tuesday, a week from tomorrow. The Biden administration is imposing a $6.5 billion natural gas hike. That's in the Inflation Reduction Act. $6.5 billion in tax hikes for the natural gas industry. A $12 billion crude oil tax, which is going to increase the cost of gas. A $1.2 billion coal tax, which is going to increase your household energy bills. They're also implementing a corporate income tax hike on U.S. businesses, which, of course, is going to be passed on to households because we know corporations don't pay taxes. They pass it on to us. A $124 billion stock tax, which will hit your nest egg, 401k, your IRAs. A 95% federal excise tax on American pharmaceutical manufacturers. That's going to increase your cost of medications. $52 billion income tax hikes on midsize and family businesses. $124 billion to supersize the IRS. That is going to increase audits. Now, I had a conversation with somebody the other day about the 87,000 new IRS agents. Oh, Charlie, I love the way they do. Oh, Charlie, they're not coming after the average taxpayer. They're coming after the big guy. No, they're not. And I'll tell you why. And I've explained this to you before, but if you haven't heard it, this is why. If you are Lonzo, let's ask Lonzo. Lonzo, jump in here for a second. So let's say the IRS sends you a bill for $150. Lonzo, we here at the IRS, we made it. There was a slight accounting error, and we found that you now owe the federal government $150. What do?
I just pay the $150.
You put a check in the mail, right? Exactly. And that's what most people do.
And that would take up my entire check from radio.
Your entire radio check goes right in there. You just go ahead and sign that check over. But that's what happens. When the IRS sends out checks to average people, they get, or when they send out bills to average people, they get checks back. You send out a letter, you get a check. You send out a letter to a rich person, what do you get back? Do you get back a check? No, you do not. You get back a letter from that rich person's lawyer or their accountant or both. And they're going to demand you explain exactly how this accounting error occurred, where it occurred, what year it occurred, what charges were wrong in the tax filing, and you're going to have to explain yourself to those people or you're either going to do it in a letter or you're going to do it in court. And the last thing they really want to do is go to court. So these 87,000 new IRS agents are going to be coming after the average people because when they send those letters out, checks come back. This is low-hanging fruit. That's what they're going after. They're not going after the big guy. That's too much trouble. It's too much work, too much paperwork. They don't want to get involved in all of that. They just want you to send them a check. It might be $150. It might be $200. It might be $1,000. But most people are just going to say, well, you can't fight this. I don't want to go through the trouble either. Let's just write them the check and send it along the way. Keep the IRS off our back. That's what the average American wants. The IRS off their back. So they will pay the $500,000, $600,000, $700 or $1,000 to keep the IRS from their door, to stop those phones ringing, to stop those letters from coming. Because they're scared to death of the IRS. Rich people, they've got accountants and lawyers that love to get involved with the IRS. Yes, let's go. Come on. Let's prove it. Let's do another audit. Let's do a bigger audit. Because I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people, the rich people that actually get audited, you know what happens the majority of the time? They get money back. They don't have to pay more money. They get money back because the IRS was the ones that actually messed up. So no. These IRS agents aren't there to go after the big guy. They're there to go after you. Charlie, I know someone who traded Bitcoins. Then the IRS sent them $1 million tax bill. Oops. But now it's down and they can't offset the loss. $1 million. How much were they trading? Good gracious. Charlie, why are the small candy called fun size? To me, fun size would be the size of a cinder block. You're exactly right. That's good marketing right there. Good marketing. Charlie, Tootsie Rolls keep kids occupied and satisfied. You're right about that. Charlie, I'm going to catch a lot of flack, but candy corn pumpkins, can't get enough of them. Candy corn. I think candy corn gets too much of a bad rap. I mean, they're not bad. They're not horrible. Charlie, it just proves we need to go with a fair tax and end the IRS altogether. I 100% agree. Fair tax, that's the way to go. Because then, I mean, do you really think drug dealers are filling out IRS forms? Do you think the cartels are paying? No. Are criminals paying IRS for filling out IRS? No, they're not. With the fair tax, the tax is paid at the cash register. Period. Let's see. Charlie, I'm curious about something. This is from 361, by the way. I was wondering when 361 was going to pop up on Halloween. Yeah, Charlie, I'm curious about something, though. All the money that they're going to collect, as opposed to all the money they're paying all of these agents, wouldn't that mean they're just going to break even at some point, not make any money at all? Oh, no. They'll be good. They're going to get back plenty. Charlie, because the taxpayers are paying for that. They don't care. They're just going to print more money. Charlie, in my subdivision, Glen Lake, they're handing out Jell-O shots. Oh, might have to look at some property over there. We'll be right back. This is the Charlie James Show, 106.3 WORD. That's right. They can
Markets Talk Line
at 800-347-1063. This is the Charlie James Show.
on 106.3 WORD.
Well, one of the things about streaming is that this is the first time that a lot of people have seen me. And here I am in all my glory. This is my home studio, delightfully appointed with all of my baseball caps. Well, I would say this is about 95% of all my baseball caps. I got about 50. I think I got 40 up on the wall here. I got my Masters flag. I got my Ocean Course flag. Of course, I've got my American flag. I've got my Mr. Wrestling #2 mask right there. I've got my Make America Great Again hat by 106.3 WORD mug there. There's a little doll somebody made of me. A couple of baseballs there, throwing out the first pitch and all of that stuff. Just, it's nice. And then you get something like this. So Todd says, wow, first time seeing you. You have a much younger sounding voice. It's LOL. It's okay. I'm older too. The LOL didn't hurt. It didn't help, Todd. The sting is still there.
You know,
still
Charlie,
there.
I got something worse for you. Early on when I was doing remotes, people would come up to me and say, you sounded thinner on the radio. This was before all the streaming. I'm like,
yeah.
And then they would be shocked when I made a face after they said that.
Yeah, oh, no, that was a compliment, right? That was supposed to, I'm telling you, this is a business where people can say stuff like that. You would never say something like that to a client. You know, you go to a client, they go, hey, you know, you sound younger than you really are. So anyway, Todd, I appreciate you tuning in. We certainly appreciate that. Somebody wanted to know about the fair tax. They said, Charlie, I've heard a lot about the fair tax, but I don't really know what it is. Can you explain it? Okay. When I first explain it, you're going to get a little shock. Just going to be, that's going to be your first reaction. What? But calm down. I'll explain it. Here we go. The fair tax is basically let's just say a 26% or so national sales tax. So if you go to the store and it costs $1, you're going to give them $1.26. I understand. Initially, that sounds bad. Initially, that sounds like it costs a lot of money. But hold on. Because what the fair tax does, it eliminates all other federal taxes. Okay? So all of a sudden, that candy bar that used to cost $1 no longer costs $1 because all the taxes have been taken out of it. If you look at the federal gas tax, look at the tax on oil, look at the tax on tires, look at the tax on trucks, look at the tax on everything that is taxed by the federal government. Every time somebody touches something from raw materials to finished product, the government has a tax on it. Every single time somebody touches this material, it's taxed. Okay? Whether it be payroll tax or whatever tax you want to put on it. But this eliminates all of those taxes. So that candy bar that initially now would cost $1, it might only cost 65, 70, 75% or 75 cents. So now you're actually not paying more money for that candy bar. You're paying about the same. But when you make let's just say you make $1,000 a week. I know, but let's just say you make $1,000 a week. Guess what? You bring home $1,000 a week. And then you decide what you want to be taxed on. That way, if a drug dealer has $1,000 that he hasn't been taxed on, and he goes and he buys whatever, he goes and buys the same candy bar, he is now also being taxed as well. So everybody gets taxed, but you get to decide what you want to be taxed on. And every year, you're going to get a tax rebate up to the poverty level. So this also helps people that don't make as much money as you do. Okay? Lots of things about the fair tax that are really, really good. The best thing is it eliminates the IRS. because there will be no need for this huge organization that we have in Washington, D.C. That's the main reason people don't like it, because it'll eliminate the control of the federal government. It will give you the control over what you want to spend your money on. I think it's a great idea. I love the fair tax. Everybody will absolutely be better off if we have this. Charlie, that fair tax would also get all the illegals that don't pay income or property taxes to pay their fair share. You're exactly right. Charlie, you are a handsome man with an upbeat, energetic voice. Having a young-sounding voice reflects your personality and attitude. That's a good thing. Thank you so much, 009. I appreciate that. Now that kind of got my self-esteem back up there. So I appreciate that. Yeah, I like the fair tax. I think it's a good thing. I really do. It's certainly better than what they're planning. It's certainly better than digital currency, where they're going to take money out of everything that you buy, everything that you sell, no longer be able to go to a yard sale or a garage sale or stop by and give the little girls a couple of dollars for a lemonade or something like that. That'll all be done. That'll all be done away with. If Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum have their way, digital currency is going to be the order of the day. And that would be devastating for our economy. And why do they want that? Power and control. The fair tax takes away that power and control. Digital currency increases power and control. And that's never a good thing, is it? Never, ever a good thing. Somebody that wants more power and wants more control is Stacey Abrams. But she had a disastrous moment the other night when she was in a debate against Kemp over in Georgia. I'm going to play this clip for you. It's got to do with defunding the police. Man, it did not go well for Stacey Abrams. Also going to tell you about something that they're looking at doing in Germany that's going to make Greta Thunberg pretty darn mad. All of that coming up next in the final half hour of the Charlie James Show. 106.3 WORD. Welcome back to the program. Well, the other day, Stacey Abrams had a little difficulty at the debate, and it did not go well. It didn't go well at all. I want you to listen to this because this is Stacey Abrams. This is when Brian Kemp was talking about how he had the support of 107 Georgia sheriffs. 107 sheriffs from Georgia want Brian Kemp to be the governor. Here was Stacey Abrams' response.
So no, I don't have 107 sheriffs who want to be able to take Black people off the streets, who want to be able to go without accountability.
Wait, hold on. We got to hear that again. We've just got to hear that again. This is Stacey Abrams. Again, Brian Kemp saying he had the support of 107 Georgia sheriffs.
So no, I don't have 107 sheriffs who want to be able to take Black people off the streets, who want to be able to go without accountability.
107 sheriffs. Do you know that 28% of those 107 sheriffs are Black? 28% of the sheriffs that support Kemp are African American. That's right. It's not about, most of the Atlanta police force is Black. And Stacey Abrams has the audacity to stand up and say something like this. And then she denied saying she wanted to defund the police, but we've got the receipts.
I did not say, and nor do I believe in defunding the police. He is lying again. And I've never said that I believe in defunding the police.
So yes to some defunding.
We have to reallocate resources. So yes.
I did not say, and nor
we have to reallocate resources. So yes, to defunding the police. This woman needs never to hold public office ever again in her life. First of all, she's a liar. And if those pants caught on fire, it would be a 3-alarm. So then she comes along and says that the people basically saying all of the sheriffs that support Brian Kemp want to take Black people off the street. So calling them racist, again, playing the race card, just like she did before. No wonder Kemp's got a 7-point lead on her in Georgia. The race card is played out. It is absolutely played out, especially with people like Stacey Abrams. This is a woman who denied that she ever lost the election, and then she denied denying it. This is a woman who said you need to defund the police, and then she denied saying it, even though she said it time and time again. But here's what she is. She's the model Democrat. She is the perfect Democrat. Because that's just what they do. They say something, they see if it sticks, they see if it gets traction, and then, bloom, they deny it. Absolutely deny it. Charlie, I heard this on Tara's show this morning, and yes, Greta Thunberg's head is going to explode. What you are talking about there is Germany is going to dismantle a wind farm. That's right. I guess the Germans have realized that this wind farm is not a very good business decision for the energy sector in their company, in their country, rather. So they're going to demolish the wind farm. Guess what they're going to build in its place? German energy giant RWE is tearing down wind turbines to expand a coal mine in an effort to deal with the country's energy crisis. The area of the wind farm near the small town of Lutratz will be used to expand the Garzweiler. I hope I said that right. My wife is German. The Garzweiler open pit mine in the state of North Rhine-Westphalia. The wind farm features 8 wind turbines. 1 wind turbine was dismantled last week. 2 more are going to be deconstructed sometime in the near future. 5 are going to be taken down by the end of 2023. RWE officials admit that the move appears to be paradoxical, they say. We realize this comes across as paradoxical, but but that is as matters stand. The Ministry of Economy said if Lutherats were to be preserved, the production volume required to maintain the security supply over the next 8 years could not be achieved. The stability of the open cast mine could not be guaranteed, and the necessary recultivation could not be carried out. In addition, RWE will reactivate 3 lignite-fired coal units that were previously on standby. These coal units have a capacity of 300 megawatts. With their deployment, they contribute to strengthening the security of the supply in Germany during the energy crisis. All of this could have been done away with. All of this could have been settled if Germany had just listened to El Naranja, the orange man. He warned them this was going to happen. He warned them putting all of their energy eggs in the Russian basket was going to be detrimental to them. And what did they do? How did they treat him? They laughed. Who is this man who is telling us how to run our energy sector? Who is this person? Who is this orange man? What is he doing here? He was right. He was absolutely right. Germany went with Russian natural gas. Germany went with Russian oil. And now look where they are. We just talked to Steve Malloy a little while ago with junkscience.com. There's a black market now on firewood. Firewood. People are going to old abandoned coal mines where they can find them, and they're taking what few scraps of. It's going to be hard over in Germany. It is going to be hard all across Europe because they decided to go with the Greta Thunbergs of the world instead of good common sense and Donald Trump. Had they gone with American energy, they would be, they'd probably be in the same situation they're in now, but it wouldn't be Russia's fault. It would be Joe Biden's fault because he's the guy that shut down the energy sector in this country. Well, you know what? Germans, when you're cold and you're freezing this winter, don't blame us. Blame yourselves. Blame your government because they're the ones that got you in this mess. Charlie, Germany is done with the climate cult. By the way, there's a lot of oil in each one of those turbines. Yeah, like 2,000 gallons. Oh, it's unbelievable. Charlie, medieval time, Charlie. Europe is good at this, though. We will see. Do you think we will learn anything from Germany? I hope so. I hope it doesn't come as a very hard lesson, but I hope we do. I hope at least we'll have a Congress coming up next year that's going to stop some of these ridiculous programs of the Biden administration. I really do. They need to stop. Listen, every bill, do not pass a bill. I don't care if the next 2 years are known as the years without a bill. Do not pass a bill that is put forward by Democrats. Don't do it. We'll be right back. This is the Charlie James Show, 106.3 WORD.
WORD.
The
Welcome
Upstate's
up.
#1 talk station.
Jump the gun there. Jump the gun, Charlie. Let's see. Charlie, I think I got this right, but Neil Bortz used to speak about the fair tax, and it just makes fair sense. You're right. In fact, Neil Bortz co-authored one of the preeminent books on the fair tax. It's the way to go. It really is. All right, we've been talking about Paul Pelosi and that attack that happened at his home. There is a 911 call, and I'm going to play it for you, and I want you to listen to it because there's still some questions that need to be answered. Here is the 911 operator talking about what was going on at Paul Pelosi's home the night of the attack.
A priority 910, 2640 Broadway, across of Scott and Normandy. 14-hour copy. RP stated that there's a male in the home and that he's going to wait for his wife. RP stated that he doesn't know who the male is, but he advised that his name is David and that he is a friend. RP sounded somewhat confused. 12-hour back and copy.
Units code 3 to 2640 Broadway for 14-hour.
Cover 12-hour copy. 15-hour also code 3.
Cover 112 advice insufficient units on scene 2640 Broadway. Special call medic 66, location 2640 Broadway.
A priority 910, 26.
So that was the 911 call. The RP is reporting person. The reporting person saying that, so Paul Pelosi, according to this, was the person on the phone saying that he didn't know the person, but he was a friend. Now that's kind of weird. That's kind of strange to me. Now, what some people are saying out there is that this was code, that Paul Pelosi was using code to the 911 operator, trying to diffuse the situation, saying, oh, he's a friend. No, I don't know who he is, but he's a friend, and he's broken into my home, and I don't know. Now, we all initially heard that the assailant was in his underwear. Well, that story went away pretty quickly. So, lots of questions still to be answered about this. Lots of them. But then when you get people like Joe Biden coming along and they're saying, oh, well, you know, this was all caused by Donald Trump. Some people, even Rob Reiner, meathead, actually blamed Donald Trump, who was all the way across the country in Florida, I presume, might have been in New York. I don't know where Donald was, but he certainly wasn't in San Francisco. And I don't remember Donald Trump putting anything out on Truth Social saying, hey, anybody want to go to Paul Pelosi's house tonight? I hear he's all alone. No, none of that happened. So Rob Reiner blaming Donald Trump and Trump supporters for the attack on Paul Pelosi, not only Rob Reiner, also Joe Biden, blamed anybody that questioned the 2020 elections. This is your fault. This is on you. According to him, they always wanted to point the blame at the Republicans. Now, remember in the Red speech, this was the same guy that talked about violent rhetoric against Republicans, against conservatives, saying that you were the downfall of this country. So this guy really doesn't have a whole lot of political capital to spend when he talks about harsh rhetoric, does he? And certainly the people on the left, they are guilty as the day is long about the rhetoric. I mean, how many years do we hear Russia, Russia, Russia? Everybody was spreading false information about Donald Trump. They will start spreading false information about Ron DeSantis. The closer we get to the election, they will. But for some reason, you doubting the outcome of an election, you're responsible for Paul Pelosi getting knocked upside the head with a hammer. Wow. You've got more power than you thought you did, don't you? That's pretty amazing. Pretty darned amazing, in my opinion. All right, it is getting towards the end of the show. We got some kids walking around the neighborhood. You guys be very careful out there tonight. Please, please be careful out there tonight. Watch as you're crossing the streets. Don't take candy from anybody that you don't know. Go to houses where you know the people. Have yourselves a great time, but be very, very vigilant. Just be very, very safe. Thanksgiving. Halloween was always one of my favorite holidays, but some of the costumes that I'm seeing now are absolutely amazing. Lonzo and Upstate Pulse, you guys all dressed up this past weekend. That was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, we do that every year.
Now, what were you?
Well, I was a Viking slash a D&D character slash a character from the game Skyrim. So
okay.
Anything Nordic.
Yeah,
that was me.
You had a very Nordic costume this year. That was very, very cool. The costumes that are out these days are fantastic. When I was a kid, you literally had what amounted to a garbage bag with something printed on it, and then a plastic mask held together with a rubber band.
And the smell of vinyl.
And the smell of vinyl, you're exactly right, everywhere. These days, so many great costumes out there. But you know what? Some schools, and I found this funny, I'm going to leave you with this tonight. I found this pretty darn funny. Some schools were sending home and sending out emails telling parents, are you ready for this? You ready for this? Not to send their kids to school wearing a mask because it might inhibit learning. Oh, I got you. Oh, okay. Yeah, Star Wars mask bad, Fauci mask completely acceptable. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, well, there you go. All right, we're going to get out of here. Mark Levin is up next. He's got a great show planned for you. Y'all have a safe, happy, chocolate, gooey, wonderful, sugary filled evening. And I'll see you right back here tomorrow when you're coming down off that sugar high, and we'll talk about our diets. Y'all have a great night. God bless. Buckle up. Bye, y'all.